Sometimes my internet's really shitty up here, so I cut out. But what I was getting to is that from my perspective, like that's the closest thing to love that I've found so far in my understanding, is acceptance, surrender for everything that is happening around you. Yeah, okay, so getting into actually like psychedelics is what I like to talk about recently because I've consumed and just tried a few different things, not everything, but from observation, like every time that I've gone for an experience, that's exactly what I was going for, is the experience. I didn't expect anything. I wasn't trying to have a good time or a bad time or anything. I was trying to learn from the experience and see what happened and see what I could get from it. So it's a very different way of consuming some of these substances, because I find that like you might get distracted with all the three-dimensional things in front of you that you'll kind of forget that there's more to look at. This is where you end up just watching Netflix or listening, like, and all that's okay, like just zoning out depending on what you're going for. I relate psychedelics to kind of the golden thread in the labyrinth. So right now we are in the labyrinth and it's gotten super, super complicated. And for those people who are just like so far away from source from themselves, these golden threads can give them a little bit of an idea, it can show you who you are temporarily. So it's a shortcut, and not a shortcut in the sense that you're going to get ahead. It's a glimpse. So when you take these substances, it will in no way catalyze your awakening process unless you choose to learn from the experience. So they'll show you what you need to know, and it's on you whether to actually interpret that, accept it, envelop it, become the true self that is within your heart, like the light that is within. So from what I'm finding now is like so it's been about a month since my psychic abilities have kicked in, let's say, whatever you want to call them. A lot of people don't like that term, so it doesn't really matter. But what I found since that has kicked in is I can end up taking mushrooms, let's say, and I can let in the experience, but I've also surpassed the state of consciousness that it deems accessible, so you can shut it off. You're not under the influence anymore. You're influencing yourself. So when you consume anything, you can actually just flip the switch and it doesn't matter anymore. So my programming has caused me to feel the need to smoke a joint before I go to bed. And right now I'm really trying to focus on the shadow work to understand that I get a way better high from singing a few songs than smoking a joint, and it's just something that doesn't serve me anymore. But it's not something to demonize. I just personally I figured out like something that works for me better than what's been working or actually hasn't been working, and that's why it's perpetuated for 12 years. It never actually solved the problem. It only band-aided the problem. So if you just discipline yourself enough to find yourself through silence, and I believe that meditation is essential to spirituality, but not with a preconceived idea of what meditation means. So to me, meditation actually means silence within yourself, which doesn't need to be quiet. is the thing. So for me, when I sing, I find a sense of silence within myself and within the world. It's harmony. Um, you don't hear yourself, you don't hear it, you're just there. And by being there, you open yourself up to grace and you allow in life force energy, primordial energy that triggers or whatever. You expand, and it feels amazing. That's all. So if anyone wants any, yeah, I don't know, but it's difficult to get past all of the crutches that we've learned to really rely on, because I mean, like, the story that a lot of us have been told, and not just story, but actual trauma that a lot of us have been through. uh, it's really hard to want to pay attention to that, and in order to get over it, you have no other choice. But it's up to you whether that's something you actually want to do or not. It's not an obligation, and no one's asking you to get over your shadow work. It's you asking you to get over your shadow work because you want to find yourself. So if you're actually asking the universe, like, who am I? Then you have to take some accountability there and be willing to listen. And in order to listen, you've got to get sober. And when you're sober, you have to find that state of silence, whatever that might be for you. It's called, most of us call it our passion, something that pulls you toward it, and it doesn't feel like you have to push yourself. It doesn't take effort. It's effortless because because, like, yeah, because the idea is that strong. You can't live without it anymore. Uh, Especially once you've felt just a little bit. So, for those of you who do strive for that path, you can do it. Uh, you can. We all can. And if anyone needs help, let me know. See you later.